Good evening. India and Bhutan are the closest partner. In fact, India and Bhutan are the historic partnership, and the ties transcend economic, security, as well as cultural ties. This historic partnership is unfolding is a new era in different dimensions. In fact, the continuity is going stronger. Apart from that, Bhutan, a strategic country, despite its size, is an important nation which holding its own unique position, providing an alternative model of development. Despite the pressure of economic new dimensions, Bhutan is sticking towards its own sustainability program, a focus on the green energy, and charting its own course. Here in Thimphu, it's honored to be Prime Minister Mr. Tshering Tobgay in this beautiful Prime Minister office. Thank you, Prime Minister, for having me here in Thimphu in a short time. I understand you have just come back from India. And I begin asking you, Prime Minister, of course, India-Bhutan relations are the closest, and it has been historic in terms of past even centuries we're talking about. What is behind such relationship? How do you define? What makes us so stronger in the modern times going ahead?
Welcome to Bhutan, and it's an honor to meet you. Bhutan and India are close neighbors geographically, but our friendship is special. It has not just stood the test of time, but over the decades it has been going from strength to strength. What drives our friendship is our leadership. In Bhutan's case, it is our successive enlightened monarchs who have nurtured our friendship with India and ensured that our friendship grows from strength to strength. In India, it is your successive presidents and prime ministers, and most recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Under his tenure, the friendship between our two countries has grown at unprecedented levels. And this is why I say our friendship is special, it is unique, it is an example of good neighborliness and good friendship to the rest of the world. And that friendship is developed and nurtured and maintained by our respective leaders.
Prime Minister, Bhutan itself as a threshold, being a democratic country, is charting its own economic development path. Of course, it's based on an alternative model which is worldwide, while accepted, it's also debated. Could you talk about what is the position of Bhutan in terms of the economic development, and what sort of model you're adopting? While we have understood about your green partnership, you focus on the green and also the happiness index, which is the measurement of your economic development.
Well, all development, not just economic growth, but all development in Bhutan is driven by the philosophy of gross national happiness. Gross national happiness basically puts the happiness and well-being of our people at the center of the development agenda. Gross national happiness attempts to balance economic growth. Economic growth is important, that's undeniable.
Right.
But that economic growth must be balanced with social progress, equity, environmental preservation, culture, and good governance. And this holistic form of development is called gross national happiness, and we attempt to be true to the ideals and principles of gross national happiness in developing our economy. Now that said, our economy is small. It's one of the smallest in the world. It's only 2.5 billion US dollars. However, that economy is largely distributive and it is largely sustainable,
right,
environmentally sustainable.
Right.
Are we there yet? No, not by a long shot. We have a lot to do in strengthening our economy, in growing our economy, and in doing so, our aspiration is to continue to be faithful to the principle and ideals of gross national happiness that has gotten us this far, this successfully.
Prime Minister, I continue focusing on this the path of your growth and economic model, which is again world is talking about. The Bhutan concern for environment is globally recognized as the only carbon negative country, truly perhaps the three countries in the worldwide, which is carbon negative, and Bhutan tops among them. It is also difficult debate against the demand of urban modernization and industrial expansion. And there's a conflict, Prime Minister. What is your model of future sustainability in this concept? Do you see as a conflict, or do you see the continuity of your model?
Well, we are fortunate and we are proud that we are carbon negative. As you pointed out, we are just one of 3 countries worldwide, the other 2 being Panama and Suriname, that are carbon negative, and we were the first to be recognized as such. We are carbon negative because of the enlightened leadership and enlightened policy of our kings. We are carbon negative because of the ideals of gross national happiness, and we aspire to continue to be carbon negative as we continue to grow, as we continue in our development journey. Is there a trade-off? Yes. We cannot have unbridled economic growth if we want to be carbon negative, if we want to be environmentally sustainable. Is it one or the other? Not necessarily so. We can balance.
Yes.
We can take a middle path. And that goes for urban living as well. Urban living does not necessarily have to be environmentally destructive. We can have a middle path where people can live in an environment space which is respectful of one another and is respectful for Mother Nature. And this is what His Majesty the King, His Majesty the King's royal vision about the Gelufu Mindfulness City is all about. A city that will be spread across more than 2,000 square kilometers, which will encompass at least 2 of our ancient protected areas. That is carbon negative, and that is going to be one of the most sustainable cities in the world. So, is it possible? Yes. I know in most other countries it will be a big challenge to assume that middle path between urban growth, urban living, and natural sustainability. In Bhutan, we have the upper hand because it is basically an extension of gross national happiness.
And then, Prime Minister, one of the fundamentals of achieving this is of course the energy, and this again the worldwide debate about which path we should take in terms of green energy, renewable energy, and in the same Bhutan thrust on clean energy, especially in the sector of hydropower, solar and green hydrogen is a priority. We see a lot of development and new projects are coming up. Could you talk about the roadmap of further growth based on such values and continuity towards the green energy?
Well, except for a few outliers in the world, almost everybody has accepted that green energy is important, that we cannot continue to depend on fossil fuel, that this is bad for our planet, bad not just for our future, but bad for ourselves now. And so the increasing amount of focus given to green energy. Bhutan, we are blessed because in the Himalayas we have a lot of fast-flowing rivers. They can generate more than 30 gigawatts of clean energy, 30,000 megawatts of clean energy. And so far, while we are already exporting electricity to India, we have tapped only 7.5% of our potential. Now you ask me about what is our plan going forward. We are going to accelerate the development of hydropower projects in the country. Plus, we are accelerating the development of solar farms in the country to tap into solar energy. And in looking even more further ahead, we expect to use our energy resources, green, clean energy resources, to produce clean fuel, green hydrogen, green ammonia and the like, which we will consume ourselves and sell to our neighbors.
Will it be a major contributor to your economic growth?
Bhutan's economy is small. So the moment we accelerate the slow calculated development of hydropower, our economy will experience a boost. So, and that boost is going to be, again, environmentally sustainable. And so we can enjoy, in this case, in the case of clean energy, green energy, we can enjoy the best of both the worlds.
Prime Minister, beyond energy, Bhutan is also embarking on an ambitious plan towards rapid socio-economic progress and technological advancement. We talked about some of the fundamentals based on the green energy. But here I want your perspective of emerging Bhutan in terms of new and modern technology, the space, digital public infrastructure. Even we talk about something like artificial intelligence, the whole world is talking about. What are the challenges in terms of funding and skill development in these areas, and how are you progressing? What's your vision on these technology, Prime Minister, if you talk about?
Well, we don't have a choice. We have to adopt digital technology, not just adopt digital technology, but use it in a way that is relevant. But remember, technology is not the goal. The idea is to leverage on technology, use technology to grow in a mindful manner, to enhance the happiness and well-being of our people. Now, in doing so, technology is expensive and our economy is small. So, in using technology, computing power, digital infrastructure, artificial intelligence, blockchain, Web 3.0, any form of technology for us, because we have a small economy and a small population. Our population is just 7 lakh people. So the per capita cost becomes prohibitive, and this is very expensive for us. But that said, we don't have a choice. We must adopt relevant technologies. And for this, we must prioritize our investments. And one of the priorities is digital technology.
And what about skilling of youth of this country in these emerging and modern technology, Prime Minister? How are you planning to skill your citizen, the young, bright student people of Bhutan?
It'll have to start from pre-primary school. It'll have to start from there, go to primary school. Our children will need to be exposed to the world of technology. Now, we don't have a choice. Technology, digital technology is everywhere. It's become ubiquitous. And so our children, we must expose all our children to technology. Then, in the schools, we must provide them the opportunity to enhance their knowledge and skills in the area of technology. As they finish school, we must provide them courses, technical level courses, diploma level courses, college level courses that will allow them to specialize in technology. And then we've got to be able to provide a landscape, an investment environment that's friendly to develop technology business. And finally, there will be training and retraining of the adult population. All this really is unavoidable, but it requires investment.
And Prime Minister, the similar fashion, do you think these inputs and elements of technology will help you diversify the economy apart from the tourism, which is also a sustainable way? You think these are the methods we can diversify the economic growth and possibly?
Yes, we've got to diversify economy from hydropower, agriculture at the moment. We've got to diversify into larger amounts of tourism while continuing to be faithful to our policy of high and low volume tourism. Tourism, we've got to diversify because not just it brings in revenue, but that revenue is spread throughout a cross-section of society. And in all this, as we diversify our economy, as we continue to grow socially, as our growth is largely inclusive, the role of technology will be paramount.
Prime Minister, back to some of the situation, also would like to understand and perhaps audience in India would like to know about, more on the ground in Bhutan, especially the large-scale migration of youth from Bhutan. Whether it's factor exaggerated, it's great to hear from you why it's happening. Is it a worrisome trend, or is it a quest for international outreach for skills and jobs? It happens in India. Last year there were 7 lakh students who migrated for skills, for better educations and for opportunity worldwide. But how you look at, from the policy perspective, and how is government is doing about that?
It's both. On the one hand, our youth are looking for better opportunities to learn, to study, to work, and to earn. And for that, the whole world is available for them, because our youth are relatively well educated, can speak English fairly fluently, are very hard-working, and are trustworthy. So regardless of anywhere they go in the world, they are in high demand. While working abroad, they just not learn, but they acquire experience, they acquire new skills, and they're able to actually save money. So all this is important. But the other aspect of migration for Bhutan is that it is a big concern. While we want our youth to go out, acquire knowledge, skills, earning, and hopefully return as soon as possible, our population is still very small, and we've invested a great deal of resources to educate and to give our population good health. And when we have large numbers of youth going out, obviously those numbers going out mean we have less professionals here, less youth here. Our consumer base is small, our professional base is compromised, and as such it could constrain our economy. So we're looking at it from both sides, and again, the answer, the solution will lie somewhere in between, in finding the right balance.
But it's a matter of concern, Prime Minister.
It's a matter of concern. We see the opportunity also, and so we've got to address a balance.
One of the important aspects of Prime Minister, the whole geopolitics way shaping, it's full of conflict. And it's understood that Bhutan, being sandwiched with 2 large countries, and also has a huge diplomatic relations with around the world, it's commendable. It's often seen as a role model in terms of managing, navigating the clumsy geopolitics today. What is behind that secret, Prime Minister? How do you manage so well?
Our main friend, our principal ally, is India. To a large degree, our focus, our priority is to nurture the friendship with India when it comes to international relations. Beyond India, we have diplomatic relations with only a select number of countries. And with them, we maintain good relations. In fact, we have diplomatic missions in only a handful of places in the world. And each of those missions look after multiple countries. And they are really overstretched. But this is all a small country can do. We engage meaningfully, sincerely, with as many countries as possible. And we use the multilateral organizations, the UN for example, to engage at a multilateral level to the extent possible.
And despite the Prime Minister, again back to the culture of focusing and concern for environment is a part of life here, is a way of life here, Prime Minister, and you take that very seriously. Do you want to take this issue on the global level as a role model, as a champion of such a cause?
It's already taken at a global level. It's not necessary for Bhutan to champion it. The world over, people are already concerned. The youth are very anxious, and Bhutan does not need to take leadership in this case. The world, the youth are taking the leadership.
And last question, Prime Minister, of course, the very important relation, of course, be such a different way of life model, and which is sustaining and also showing the world towards conflicting geopolitics. What world can learn from Bhutan in times of such conflict and economic uncertainties? What Bhutan is offering, what is the message you want to give, to the world in such a situation?
I think everybody can learn from everybody. Every country can learn from the other. We can learn from our neighbors, we can learn from countries that are very far also. Now with digital technology, everything is in your palm of your hands, literally. The world is literally in the palm of your hands through technology. You can learn from one another and you can share with one another. As far as Bhutan is concerned, there's no message as such. Yeah, we live our lives according to our values, according to our priorities. We are fortunate that the world actually respects us for it, and if we can be an inspiration, if our story can inspire even one person, we are blessed.
Here at Prime Minister office in Thimphu, and it's an honor to have again Prime Minister Tshering Tobgay speaking with Manish Kumar Jha for Sansad TV, signing off from Thimphu here. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you very much for your time. It's an honor to have you here, Prime Minister, with me.
To watch more programs of Sansad TV, subscribe to our YouTube channel and don't forget to like and share them.